The Butterfly Ball and the Grasshopper's Feast by Aldridge and William Plomer. The Butterfly Ball and the Grasshopper's Feast by Aldridge, with verses by William Plomer and nature notes by Richard Fitter. This is the day. As night turns to dimness and draws back its curtain, stars, those bright sequins, now all disappear. As dimness grows radiant, dawn makes it certain that butterfly weather, quite perfect, is here. Thundery cumulus masses are drifting very far off. Overhead, very high, cirrus clouds spread their pink feathers, then lifting, dissolve and are lost in the turquoise blue sky. Up comes the sun, and the very long shadows grow shorter. His light is like amber, the glow where grey mists have melted away from the meadows starts dewdrops all sparkling like jewels below. Creatures that fly, or that creep, hop, or run, now wake all at once at a loud trumpet call, to tell them this greatest of days has begun, the day of the feast and the butterfly ball. At the sound of the trumpet, the dozens invited now jump out of bed squealing, "This is the day! Oh, goody! The ball! Aren't you madly excited? Get up! Get ready! Let's be on our way!" Harold the Herald. Tan-ta-ra-ta-roo! I'm Harold the Herald, gadfly and trumpeter too, well equipped for my job, as you see. My trumpet's a gentian, my sword's in its scabbard, my wife, let me mention, embroidered my tabard with stitches as fine as can be. Tan-ta-ra-ta-roo! Wake up and take notice, this news is important for you. Today is a great day for all in the insect creation, and that is a rhyme for jollification, so do be in time for the magnificent butterfly ball. P.S. At dawn, when sunshine with a flood of light fills all the sky with gold, the gadfly's wife, so I've been told, besides the paper and the post, brings him a morning cup of blood, not just because he likes it most. It is, in fact, his only food, and puts him in a sanguine mood for doing almost anything, but most of all for trumpeting. Mrs. Dormouse. A dormouse is a sleepy mouse, but this is not a sleepy house. It's Honeysuckle Hall, and Saffron Dormouse and her son, his name is Tom, are full of fun. They're going to the ball. Yesterday she washed her hair all over, knowing she would wear today her smartest thing, her picture hat heaped up with fruit. Tom's put on his sailor suit, and she her ruby ring. Dormice in winter like to snooze, not now, look at her party shoes. And oh, what lovely eyes! Her husband married her because he thought her finest feature was their lustre and their size. Old Blind Mole. Among his homemade tunnels is the deep, dark hole, the secret home and hideout of Old Blind Mole. And as he's not a tidy mole, it's not a tidy hidey hole. It's dusty, musty, dingy, and on the floor he scatters half-chewed scraps of worms and things. He doesn't think it matters. Now to him, deep underground, faintly there comes a thrilling sound, Harold the Herald's trumpet call, announcing that tonight's the ball. Up gets Mole to brush his sleeves, free from earth and bits of leaves, meaning today to look his best. Before he went to bed he pressed under his mattress with much care the velvet coat he means to wear. He slips it on, puts on his hat, takes up his stick. As for his lunch, he has no worry about that, a bunch of juicy worms to munch. Dandy Rat and the Footpads. Along the seashore near St. Michael's Mount, the sea quite calm beneath a mild blue sky. on his high-stepping grey, so proud and smart. Rich dandy rat, the merchant canters by, with satin saddlecloth and silver spurs, silk, lace and feathers, feeling at his best, much looking forward to the ball tonight, to being admired because superbly dressed. How fine I am, he thinks. I only wish the crew could see me from that ship becalmed. All in a flash, he finds himself attacked by 4 fierce footpads dangerously armed. With pitchfork, cutlass, and goat-headed club, there's Oswald Otter. What's his name? The stoat. Reynard Death, the fox, and Barney Bat. They mean to rob him and then cut his throat. They drag him down, they grab his cloak and sword, tear off his clothes and find his heavy purse. Out roll gold coins, while over these they fight. Dandy like lightning, fearing something worse, darts through the bushes, racing for his life. Not mounted now, nor dressed up for the ball. When he arrives there, somebody will squeak, "Disgraceful! Dandy Rat's got nothing on at all." P.S. Before you turn over, here's a good game. Hunt through the picture and find out Stoat's name. The answer is on the last page of the book. Harlequin Hare.
Here I come, I'm Harlequin Hare. I jingle and jangle, tinkle and strum. I'm mad and enjoy it, I make them all stare, turning head over heels now and then in mid-air. I'm ready and willing to box for a shilling, can sprint like a flash and play crazy new tricks. If I get in a fix, what do I care? I'm Harlequin Hare. The madder the gladder's my motto, as all who see me agree. I prance and I dance and I caracole on, with cymbals and bells and accordion. You can bet that I'll be in good time tonight for the butterfly ball. Harlequin Hare, we'll be there.
Esmeralda, Seraphina, and Camilla. Esmeralda, Seraphina, and Camilla, each a glad and glorious caterpillar. A live mosaic of orange, green, and gold. What silks they wear, what gorgeous bags they hold. But oh, they're slow, yet safe if they're unseen by any hungry crow or other airborne wretch, creeping through grasses and the purple vetch, almost as soundless as the bindweed twining among the flowers, with smiling sunlight shining through their enchanting parasols, with happy sighs, all 3 a whispering of that dream come true when there'll be different beauties, butterflies. Belles of the ball they hope to be. Oh, do please introduce me to that lovely caterpillar. All caterpillars have the hugest appetite, so Esmeralda, Seraphina, and Camilla can hardly wait to join the feast tonight. Major Nathaniel Gnat. Major Nathaniel Gnat, with his fine feathered cavalier hat, is off on a spree, so with you or with me he cannot stop now for a chat. He sleeps in a 4-poster bed, with a canopy over his head. He lives in great state, he dines off gold plate, and oh, what a life he has led! On camels and elephants' backs, in deserts and forests and shacks, in Tibet or Peru he has known what to do in ambushes, raids, and attacks. The call to adventure he hears has made him shoot tigers and bears, and it quickens his pace when a beautiful face or an elegant figure appears. Though asked to the ball, I suppose, he may visit some lady he knows, look deep in her eyes, and bewitch her with lies, and present her, of course, with that rose. Happy-go-lucky Grasshopper. Happy-go-lucky Grasshopper snatched up a gamp and clapped on a wig. He doesn't care how he looks, just doesn't care a fig. For hours he's been hopping, without ever stopping, delivering cards for the ball, invitations to each and to all, and he's taken great care to plan and prepare good things for the feast, so that every guest may have for a treat the food he likes best. Nuts for squirrels and worms for moles, and little titbits for beetles and bowls. Happy-go-lucky Grasshopper, what awful risks he takes, as grasshoppers have no brakes. He doesn't always land exactly where he planned. To be happy and hoppy and free is every grasshopper's wish. Happy-go-lucky, stop or you'll be a snack for a big-mouthed fish. Safe, he straightens his wig and breathes a sigh of relief. The shock was almost too big for the boatman on his leaf. But Grasshopper's not afraid in the least, and with hugest hops goes off to the feast. Magician Moth. When it's dusk or dark on earth, dusky, misty, ghostly, it's then Magician Moth goes flitting mostly, softer than a breath. Marked with a skull since birth, he knows no fear of death, and when he folds his patterned velvet wings, keeps very still as midnight darkens, keeps very still and hearkens to the faintest, strangest, and most secret things. They say that whispers from some very far, never seen and nameless star give him power to foresee happenings unknown to you and me. Before the ball was even thought of, he knew just when it would be. So here he is, in the clear light of day, famous Magician Moth, outside this place of call, the busy old white lion, buying a jug of honey, something to rely on, before he flits away, but not till after sunset, to the ball. Lizzie Bee. Flowers hold for honey bees drops of purest nectar, and Lizzie Bee of all the bees is the busiest collector. Humming to herself for hours, Lizzie visits many flowers, honeysuckle, thyme, and clover. Yellow pollen powders over Lizzie's legs as round she goes, probing into every rose. Lizzie knows where the sweetest nectar lies. Oh, today, a big surprise! Not a single flower will see anything of Lizzie Bee. Today's her happy holiday. She deserves one day at least. She's left the hive to buzz away with loads of honey for the feast. Good night, children.
I was saying good night to my children. Not old enough to have wings, they're still living under the water, the greediest, ugliest things. In the lake, as smooth as a mirror, I can hardly believe what I see while saying good night to my children. I've fallen in love with me.
To the feast and the ball have now flitted, dragonflies red, green, and blue. You can't spend all night at your mirror, so what are you going to do?
Me? As I'm a glittering beauty, though I too was ugly when small. Of course I must rush off to show off my beautiful self at the ball.
The Rodents Express. From their sharp front teeth to the tips of their tails, the rodents were thrilled by their trip on the rails in a Midland Express with the Princess of Wales. Rat with his hoop, Shrew with his nose, won't leave the fence till they see how it goes. Mad about trains, someone must call and tell them it's time to start for the ball. Going first class in the Rodents' Express, Mrs. Squirrel had managed to put on her dress, her butterfly dress. It's a perfect success. But Rat with his hoop, Shrew with his nose, can't be bothered about their clothes. No good scolding them, Squirrel explains. The plain fact is, they're mad about trains. Punchinello. All in red and yellow, dressed as Punchinello, Fox, the crafty fellow, travelling to the dance, casts a wicked glance through the carriage door at the prima donna on the platform there, Madame Bella Swanner, setting out upon a European tour. You may be in danger from a handsome stranger, madam, do beware. As for Lily Lizard, silly Lily Lizard, did she know the hazard, going on her own, travelling by train? Never be alone with a man unknown. So they'd often told her, especially if handsome, he might be insane, might hold you to ransom. Fox, he means to hold her when he wants his lunch, then will come the crunch. Toad in Bed. It's no good trying to rush things, is it? Said Dr. Vole, making his second visit. Tests of your water clearly showed you'd swallowed some pollution, Toad. What you now need, as I've already said, is to keep snug a day or two in bed. It's no good fidgeting or cursing. You're lucky to have splendid nursing from Cyril Crayfish, your unselfish friend, and Willie Water Measurer. You'll soon mend. I'm glad they keep your room so nice and damp. That's very healthy, good against the cramp. To get you on your way to convalescence, there's nothing like this anti-effluent essence. There's a lot of this pollution now about, but soon you'll be all right again and hopping fit and out. Miss Money Spider.
My name's Aranya, Miss Spider to you. I'm lucky to know, and I'm lovely to view. As you see, I am rich. The silk which I spin is exceedingly strong and incredibly thin. My maid, Alice Weevil, so faithful and civil, has cleverly brought, as I guessed, my green and gold shoes. I must look my best. Very soon now the ball and the feast will begin, and I mustn't be late. I still have to make up my eyes. Unlike you, I've got 8. Alice, what is the time? How it flies! So do I. Through the air, on a gossamer thread, I shall glide to the ball. As I float overhead, all will look up, and the dancers will pause to give me a deafening round of applause. Alice, good night. Don't lock the front door, or sit up for me. I'll be back about 4.
Froggy. Dreamy in the afternoon, Froggy went a-wooing, far where the clear-cut hilltops are, idly touching his guitar. Noticed Badger drifting by, Badger in his striped balloon to the ball go drifting by, not too low and not too high, through the dreamy afternoon. Where the clear-cut hilltops are, reflected in the glassy lake, Froggy plucked at his guitar through the dreamy afternoon. Ditties drifting on the wind, fingers picking out the tune, never making a mistake. Fox was fishing with a friend, and they listened by the lake. Froggy had set out a-wooing, but having sung and having played, and found that there was nothing doing, comfortably down he laid both himself and his guitar, where the spotted agarics are. On that pillow dreaming he saw uprising, circling sea, persons known to you and me. The Hornet and the Wasp. Invitations were sent to the Hornet and Wasp on condition they laid by their stings.
They might as well ask us,
protested the Wasp,
to fly to the ball without wings.
I hate you, the Hornet replied, but for once what you say does seem perfectly true. I never go stingless so long as I live, and if I get a chance, I'll sting you.
This ball, said the Wasp, means nothing to me, and nothing you say means a thing. So long as I'm airborne, so long as I'm armed, I shall fight for my freedom to sting.
Those who stick to their principles stick to their stings, and those who have guns will take aim. But after they've stung, or after they've shot, what they never will take is the blame. Waiting for a bite. There on the bridge, in the middle of the day, are several of the guests who have come a long way. The sun's overhead, the shadows are shorter, and someone says, "Look, who's that by the water?" "That's Mr. Kingfisher. He's a splendid sight, but looks as if he's waiting and waiting for a bite. Unlike us, he wasn't invited to the ball. So just to cheer him up, they give him a loud call. Mr. Blue Kingfisher, brightest, bluest bird, hears what they're saying, but answers not a word, and waiting for a bite, he may be there all night. Let him wait and wish. If you take a look, you can find a fish that he'll never hook. Take a careful look. P.S. The fish he won't catch you can easily see outlined up above in the boughs of the tree. Sir Maximus Mouse. That huge new block in EC4 of the Cheddar Bank they built last June has a secret flat on the 14th floor for Sir Maximus Mouse, the cheese tycoon. There he sits in his cosy room with a ticker tape in view of St. Paul's to watch how the market rises and falls. His whiskers twitch at the hint of a boom. His whiskers droop at the hint of a slump in his 120 super companies. As a cat will watch a mouse, he stares at the ups and downs of stocks and shares, a prince among mice and millionaires. Knock, knock, says the grandfather clock. Money's not all, money's not all. Oh, he's quite forgotten the butterfly ball. The long-eared bat. With the setting of the sun, the ball has now begun, and those who've not arrived must take care. Must all look out for that swift and fearsome bat, swooping in the twilight, oh, beware! After sleeping all day long, upside down, he's feeling strong, but he's hungry and he's looking for a bite. As he wasn't asked at all to either feast or ball, he must snap up little insects while in flight. Because they rightly fear him, they try not to go near him, and that smartly dressed cockchafer would be a great deal safer if he'd taken quite a different way tonight. Sir Bedivere and the Stag Beetle. From the castle that towers above the trees, two ladybirds guarding their flock heard a hullabaloo. "Jackie, listen, please, we don't want our sheep to die of shark. That noise would give even lions a fright." Someone was roaring, "Raise the portcullis! Lower the drawbridge! Here comes the night!" Then out rode Sir Bedivere, whirring along on his stag-beetle steed, and singing a song. I'm ready to fight with red ants or white, with goblins or elves. Myself and my stag beetle, all by ourselves. We ride off in quest of treasures or dangers, monsters or strangers, a fire-breathing dragon, a damsel distressed. Adventure, adventure, that's what we need, myself and my faithful stag beetle steed. Cheers, my dears. When newts assemble for a drink, they lap up beer and stout and port and spirits by the quart. They'd drink the Atlantic dry, I think, at least if it were free from salt and brewed with hops and malt. With time to spare before the dance, the newts all gathered took the chance, by a bright fire, well, what d'ye think, to take a little drink. They thought that it would give them all a starter for the ball. "Now cheers, me dears," said Mr. Newt, dressed in his hat and birthday suit. "We newts are good-natured clan, much thirstier than man. So let's see who can drink the most. To him we'll drink a toast." They laughed, they sang, the fire was hot. They lurched, and father took a fall. Said Mrs. Newt, "Do you know what you've been and gone and done? Missed as a newt, you silly sot, our evening at the ball." The Butterflies Airlift and the Weevils v Caterpillar Cricket Match. How could those creatures that slither and crawl ever have got to the butterfly ball? All had been asked and wanted to go, but snails are so sluggish and slugs are so slow. How could they have got to the ball? "We'll put on an airlift, I think it our duty, and ferry them there," said the Camberwell beauty. "We'll fly through the sky in this festival weather, a 7 in hand, all harnessed together, and we can bring them to the ball." So Swallowtail, Orangetip, Peacock and Brimstone, Purple Emperor, Little Chalk Blue, brighter than flags of the quarrelling nations, happily fluttered and peacefully flew and ferried the snails to the ball. Did they ever look upward, the watchers below? Not they, nor the fielders, nor those at the wicket. All were watching to see how this over would go. And the Weevil's ace batsman, a demon at cricket, was keeping his eye on the ball, his weevilish eye on the ball. The most wonderful tune in the world. The most wonderful tune in the world, all other claims are false, is Simon Centipede's masterpiece, the Lepidoptera Waltz. On the night of the butterfly ball we heard the music begin, cymbals and harp and drum, bassoon, clarinet, violin. How splendidly Simon plays! Nothing could be so neat as the way he strikes the notes with a dozen or more of his feet. When the guests began to dance, even those who had no wings flew around as if in a dream on feet like enchanted things. The dancers went off their heads. You've never heard such applause as Simon bowed and bowed to the storm of bravo and encore. When he kissed the butterfly's hand and said, "Madame, I wrote it for you," 2 tears of joy in her eyes twinkled like morning dew. The Grasshopper's Feast. Everyone had heard the feast would be spread out under the broad oak tree. At toadstool tables here are we, happily eating, as you can see. The Grasshopper's given us each a treat by getting us just what we like to eat. On every table there's different food, some to be nibbled, some to be chewed. Moths and butterflies suck what is sweet. Squirrels crack nuts, they don't like meat. Green stuff pleases hares and rabbits, but some of us insects have cannibal habits. Caterpillars keep chumbling away at nice green salads night and day. But moles and frogs like worms for their tea. To eat bread and butter they'd never agree. What a lot of trouble grasshoppers take. There goes one with a strawberry cake. And Grasshopper, look, this glass is mine. Please fill it up again with blackberry wine. Shelly Snail and Swallowtail. Swallowtail.
Shelly Snail, that mask you hold gives you a look that's young and bold. What are you really like, I ask, behind that brightly painted mask?
Shelly Snail. Swallowtail, the real me behind the painted mask you see, truthfully I must reply, is someone most extremely shy. I know this is the one great chance for me to ask you for a dance, and make your harebell girdle swing, while we perform a Highland fling. But, oh, you lovely butterfly, the fact is, I am much too shy. Swallowtail.
Shelley, I understand you well. You're only happy, I can tell, when sitting snug inside your shell. I shan't forget you while we hop and flutter in the dance non-stop. So when you sit and drink your tea inside your shell, please think of me.
The Butterfly Ball. The ball is beginning. From every direction guests are all crowding to join in the fun. Was ever there seen such a varied collection of beautiful creatures? The ball has begun! First the damselflies' ballet, so nimble on tiptoe, with glittering wings, and so famous these four, they can kick in a can-can or dance a calypso, and whatever they do always gets an encore. When rabbit and fox put on different faces, you can't be quite certain whichever they are. But soon all the guests will be showing their paces to the loud hurdy-gurdy and Froggy's guitar. They'll see Aranya on gossamer prancing over Harlequin Hare with his one-hair band, and happy-go-lucky Grasshopper dancing with lovely winged butterflies hand in hand. With slugs, mice, squirrels, and all sorts of creatures, ants, moths, and earwigs, the place will be packed. Some will say, "Whose are those faces and features?" And all will be happy as act follows act. Each one will feel that this great ball is bringing the joy of a lifetime, and all are agreed with Froggy, who twangs his guitar sweetly singing his favourite song that says, "Love's all you need." Homeward. Such a ball and such a feast no one can forget. Oh, if both would last at least one more hour, not finish yet. Some are sleepy, some could madly dance away till dawn. Lovely wings are folding sadly, one small ant was seen to yawn. Now the great big moon is sinking, and goodbyes are said. Darkness spreads, and some are thinking, who will light us home to bed? Switching on his greenish light, Glowworm's heard to say, he's so helpful and polite, "Let me put you on your way. With my light I'll guide you all homeward like a friend. While you're sleeping, feast and ball in your dreams will never end."